We feel there'll always be a date that Ellen will come back and say, you know, I'm available and I like to help out again. Because we still count her as family. Once you become a part of our health and awareness, we consider you health and awareness for life. One of the reasons that I'm here is to actually explain and to make an announcement that I'm putting my name in the hat for president.
Woo!
And if you look at the book, if President Trump can run and win, then why not me? I'm just joking. Seriously, I want to thank everyone for actually coming out as Ellen did for the first book signing. This is very, very important to me. Matter of fact, if it was one person or 1,001, the excitement that I actually have for having this as the first book signing would still be on the same level. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I want to thank Ellen again for arranging this fundraiser. This is one of her active roles. She continues to raise funds for the larger events that we do throughout the year. And the proceeds that we'll actually generate will actually go towards the March 30th event to actually raise an awareness and prevent kidney disease. We'd like to also thank the host of the building here for allowing us to hold this event here. She's not here, but we'll say thank you to you as well. Want to thank, let me see who else I had on the list. All the volunteers. The green shirts actually represent the volunteers that's been with Health and Awareness, or they're still on board. Some of them are actually hiding their green shirts, but I'm hoping they'll warm up before the evening's over and they'll actually expose it. For those of you that don't have a green shirt, if you can actually take pride in the color of green, which actually reveals prevention and individuals that's in organ donation. On the back it actually says, I'm wearing this shirt because I care, and at the bottom it says, do you. So it has a lot of power behind the green and the green shirt. So we invite everyone to actually purchase one for someone you love, or just the idea of looking at saving a life. Definitely want to thank my wife Sandra for the continued commitment to me and enriching me to actually get out and help people to receive the awareness and the information that we put out, because as you all are probably familiar, if you hadn't taken note, to start noticing the number of dialysis centers that's popping up. Yeah. They're popping up to whereas years ago, you would ask someone where's a dialysis center, first thing they would say is a what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be, I don't know where it's at or this is where it's located. It would be a what? But they're popping up left and right. 2014, Warren Buffett actually came public and he said America's next big business is to buy stock in dialysis. And of course he has made money hand over fist from dialysis, with DaVita at first and then Fresenius is the second one, in the terms of about $64 million in the first quarter. So it's all about the money when we start talking about dialysis, kidney failure, kidney disease. What do health and awareness do? We fight to fight it. We're aimed at showing people how they can actually live and prevent kidney disease, and it all pretty much starts from what we're putting in that mouth. From the food, the medicine. A lot of people don't realize, but even the air we breathe has a lot to do with it. When we start concentrating on, well, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating lots of fruits, lots of vegetables. For the individuals that read their Bible, go to church, they realize that fruits and vegetables are in season. They're not 24/7, but yet we go to the market and we buy watermelon, peaches, plums, and all these things year round. And you think you're healthy, take a good look where it's coming from, what they're using to actually have this, these fruits and vegetables to grow. There's a lot of man-made additives that's going with this, from the lights to the soil and what they're actually putting in it. So we had to give it a second thought when we start thinking, are we really healthy? And when we take that step back, that's when we start realizing a lot of the problems, the chronic disease and things that we have are from what we're actually putting in our mouth, not necessarily the medicine, even though that has a lot to do with it. What I like to ask individuals is, do you know your GFR? By showing hands, some of you guys even know what a GFR is.
I had it, but I don't know it right now.
Okay, and I know Mike does because Mike took it serious when he joined Health and Awareness. He became a volunteer when his mom passed from kidney disease. And of course, he took a note of looking at his labs and the things that we actually teach individuals. Would you share that a little bit, Mike, what the GFR is?
The GFR, basically, what the GFR is basically the function of how well your kidneys are functioning. And I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't part of Health and Awareness. And as a result of that, I'm able to basically track what my GFR is. And not only track it, but know what it is. And even ask my doctor, because one thing that I pointed out to the doctor, and he was basically shying away from me, not to question his knowledge or insult him, because he went to doctor. He went to doctor school. I didn't, but I just wanted to bring something to his attention. There's two GFR numbers they give you. One is for African American, and one is for non-African American.
Wow.
The numbers they give you, if you're an African American person, is for non-African American. That's the number they give you. That number is significantly lower than the number for African Americans.
Wow.
And when I asked him about it, he said, well, this is the number they go by. And that's not right, because if that's the case, why would they list two numbers on your lab work? One for non-African Americans and one for African Americans. So basically, he just shy away from that when I questioned him about it. And that's what opened my eyes even more. I even, told Wallace that I appreciate all the knowledge and stuff he's given me, because I've got my lab work and I've sat with Wallace and we went line by line. And, and I asked him what all of these numbers are. And before, I had no clue. I used to look at it, okay. But now, I understand what the numbers are, and I understand what they're talking about when they're telling me what numbers they're looking at. So that's the knowledge I got from Wallace just by being a part of Health and Awareness.
Wow.
And the GFR, which stands for glomerular filtration rate, tells you how well your kidneys are being filtered out the toxins and the unwanted material that's actually being retained in your body. Sandra, how many stages of GFR did the doctor tell you there were when you went to visit a kidney doctor? I'll put her on the spot. We went to visit the doctor and we went to see the kidney doctor. How many stages did he tell you? Okay, he actually said there was 3. The 3 that he actually mentioned, and of course I've got one of the sheets that actually outline the material in my book. There is a green, a yellow, and a red. It looks like a little speedometer on your car. They said they had 3, and that's what they look at, because that yellow is a large area. And that's the area that they call okay, fine, normal, and so forth. That okay, normal, fine stage is actually your preventive stage. Because if in fact your kidneys are damaged, that's when that little needle, as I mentioned in your gas gauge, is actually moving towards kidney failure. That's when you as an individual can take the active role in your health care, as the book explained, and ask the doctor, why is there movement? The last time I was here, it was 60. Now it's 45. Now you see movement, which actually represent there is a change. Change don't have to be bad, but there's one that will help you when the doctor say, do you have any questions? The majority of the time, the doctor say you have any questions, we go, don't have any questions. I know I did before my kidneys failed because I didn't know any questions to ask. So what I outlined in the book was a lot of questions that it would actually open up for the individuals to come up with the questions to ask the doctor, what's going on and why is this? Why do they use the 3 stages? I have no idea. But there is actually 5 stages to your kidney failing. Glenda, you read the book. Is there anything you would like to highlight for us?
Well, I just like how the book tells you exactly what questions to ask the doctor when this is my 6th year working with health and awareness. And I just recently turned 65 in June. And so I had my doctors to give me a rundown of my body. And my first doctor told me, oh, your numbers are great, everything looks good. And she told me it was a 66, my number was 66. My GFR number was 66. Oh, that's great for African American, that's wonderful. And then when I shared it with Mike, he was like, that's not that great. And then talked to Wallace, that's not that great. And then later, I had a second doctor to come in and looked at the information, and he told me that I was actually in the 2nd stage of chronic kidney disease. So this book is just, it's that invaluable. You've got to have the book, and we're blessed to have Wallace as an in-person, go-to person. And so I highly recommend you buy this book, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones, so that we all can understand what it means when we go to the doctors and we get our checks.
Yes.
Thank you. And this is one of the reasons that I actually outlined the book, because the co-founder, who was Willie Wilson, he passed away 8 days before our first event. He and I used to sit and talk when he was in the hospital. He was a diabetic. He had one of his foot amputated, then of course he had the leg amputated and so forth. And we just continue to go around. Somebody should be doing something about this, because it is preventable, like most chronic disease. Cancer, it's a fact. 97% of cancer is preventable, but they're not going at it from the preventable side. There is no money in preventing it.
That's true.
So when Willie and I got started on this, we wrote down the information that we went through, along with interviewing other patients that was on dialysis. And one of the things that stood out like a sore thumb was that in zone, fine, okay, and things of that nature. And as long as you keep hearing those terms, you're going to actually settle for the breakdown in your health without having any knowledge. Because what does okay mean today, and it means the next time that you had the lab results? Means the same thing, that it's okay. And it could have moved tremendously. So therefore, you've got to get to the stage where you identify these numbers, and that's just not kidney disease. That's what your cholesterol, your potassium, and everything else, because you got to keep in mind that some things moving higher is bad, whereas the other moving lower is bad. Lower blood pressure is just as dangerous as high blood pressure, because individuals can and have had a heart attack and a stroke from low blood pressure. So when individuals get to the habit of saying, I've got to get off the salt because the salt is no good, baloney. Because we got to start remembering there is no one size fit all when it comes down to treatment. It could be a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, or anyone else. Because it worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And that's what I started noticing when I started doing my research. I started noticing that a lot of the doctors use what I call the traditional treatment, or they should be using it. So I'm going to rephrase that. Most of them do not use the traditional, because the traditional is considered as old-fashioned, out of style, and nobody wants to use that anymore. They don't look at that. When in fact the old-fashioned ways doesn't involve a lot of medication and side effects. So you see a lot of people going to nutritionists instead of dietitians. Nutritionists try to heal you on natural things. Dietitian agrees with doctors, and most of them are employed with doctors because they got to work hand in hand in handing out these medications. In a traditional treatment, there is a range of treatment and opinion to manage and prevent chronic disease. Many treatments are direct at what helps someone else in the past rather than finding the root of the problem to treat the individuals. No single strategy or medicine is best for all the people. Individual walk in with a cold because he's helped 5 people with the cold, and he give them that medicine, that's what he gives the individual. Very seldom they take the time to sit down and find out what and where did your cold came from. You may need a different treatment. Why is it that one person can go in and they're cured, so to speak, in 5 days with what the doctor gave him? The other person got to come back over and over and over. And they gave him the same thing. It's because they're treating them where what they considered as the conventional way. And that's what we have to start looking at, both of them. Don't throw anything out, but as Ellen mentioned earlier, the point to where we're becoming a partner in our care, taking an active role in our care, having a relationship with our doctor to where as the first thing he throw out, we're not going to accept that. We're going to make sure that we want to know, is there anything else? What are my options? And whatever you don't know, don't be afraid to say, I don't know, explain it a little further. Take someone with you to write things down. I've always considered Sandra being my secretary when we go in. Did you get that? Did you write that down? Because a lot of stuff I don't remember, but when I get home, I start my research.
Yes, true.
Then I go back and I call the doctor and I say, would you explain this? How is this going to work? Why are we going to do this? And I got more questions because you kind of feel when you go into a doctor's office that you're pressured anyway. They want to hurry up and get you out, get the next person in. So you can't think properly and do the things you want. So don't be afraid to take your notes down, write them, and call them up a little later. The conventional way, as I mentioned, is a treatment that is widely accepted and used by most healthcare professions. It's a different from the alternate and the basic therapy. Because what they're going to do with the case of kidney disease, they're going to start taking you to the next step, which of course is dialysis. They're going to take you to the next step, which is your vascular, where they're going to put tubing in your arm, catheter in your chest to get ready for this dialysis treatment. And then they're going to start talking transplants. So there's an ongoing treatment plan that actually go along with the conventional way that, okay, we're going to monitor your kidneys. We're not going to go to stages. Okay, today you're here, today you're there, today you're here. Now you got to go get ready for dialysis. Not one person, including myself, went through a prevention stage, talked to a dietitian in Fuller of actually helping me with my meals, letting me know what I should be eating, what I should not be eating, because when I stop and look, my case was really kind of simple. My kidneys failed because of protein overload. Medical term, proteinuria is what they call it. I had no idea what that was. I was close. And when I finally went and realized what it was, I love beans, which I ate a lot of. I love peanuts, which I ate a lot of. Fruits and vegetables at that time because I was a jock. I needed that energy. I wanted to actually be able to perform. So I ate all these things. And then I looked for meats that had a lot of protein and iron in it. And I overloaded. When the doctor finally told me that I had proteinuria, and he explained to me I was losing a lot of protein in my urine, what did I do? I started eating more to replace the one that I was losing. Had no idea the kidneys is working different. It's not like other parts of the body where maybe you need to increase it. By increasing it just caused the kidneys to work harder, and of course they fail a lot sooner. So a lot of the things we need to take the time and ask the question, because people can live with kidney disease. Because they can slow down the progression or they can stop the progression of that particular stage, because there is no symptoms until it's in the danger zone. When you start tasting, your food start tasting metallic. I'm a chicken eater, which of course I love chicken. Didn't want it anymore, it got to one point. Nauseated, vomiting, swelling of the joints, fatigue, back pains, all these things come in the kidney failure section. So when you start feeling those, you're actually a little too late. And what we try to do, and what we've done in the book, is actually outline those things for individuals to where they start realizing, number one, the term of the doctor, who handles this and who handles that. Because a lot of us are seeing nothing but our primary care doctor, and they're treating us for everything. Once upon a time, primary care doctor was your only doctor and he treated you everything.
Right.
Now everybody's a specialist, down to cutting your toenails. So we're at the point now to where every time there is a problem, we got to see that specialist who knows what's causing this problem. And if they're doing it the old-fashioned way, they want to find out what's causing the problem, not just treating it. They want to know where it came from, how long this happened, where have you been. For individuals that don't know their family medical history, people who are adopted, was raised by another family or whatever, get a kidney screening anyway. Don't wait to find out, because most doctors are actually screening you for a lot of things based on your family history. That's that little sheet that they put in there and say, anybody in your family have X, Y, Z, and you go through that. Because I was surprised when my kidneys failed and I went back and got my medical record from the military, and I noticed from 17 is when my GFR was failing. And it didn't fail to mid-50s. So there's a lot of time in there. It's a slow process. It don't happen overnight. Nobody's kidneys just drop unless we're talking about there is a illness or a disease. You've got a lot of different things that actually occur from other things in your body that cause it. Just like an accident can cause kidney failure. There's a lot of other factors that's in there. And what we address in the book itself is the ones that actually come from people like me, people that are actually causing it because of things they're putting in the mouth, the medication they're taking. Pain medicine is a killer. Rolaids, Tums is a killer. Not washing our hands is a killer. There's so many basic things. That's why they took a step further when you go into the market now. They want you to wipe that cart off. You know? And it's not so much that the carts was dirty, but they were getting a lot of illness from that. Because a lot of people, when they go in the market, including me, including Mike, we go to the market and we sample. Test the grapes, see if the grapes is okay. If you're hungry halfway through, you might get a bag of chips and open them up and eat them while you're walking through. Never wash one single hand at all. So a lot of these things, we're making ourselves sick, and we're wondering, why is this happening? Where did this come from? Most cases, we're causing it ourselves. Yes, ma'am.
You were saying about the Tums and the Rolaids. What's that about?
Well, they're not good for kidneys. It's hard to actually, kidneys to clear it through the body. Just like your sodas. Why they tell you not to drink sodas. That caramel and the coloring and everything, and the sodas are killing.
Wow.
Same with your coffee, your teas and everything. Water is the best thing there is for your kidneys. So we have to be careful about that. Speaking of water, some people go to the doctor and most of them say drink 8-ounce glasses of water per day. Baloney. Hold their foot to the fire and ask them the question, well, doc, yesterday I went out running and I was exercising and I must have drank 15. Was I supposed to stop at 8? Oh, no, that was fine. Okay, so the next day I sat down, watched TV, didn't do anything. Was I still supposed to drink the 8? Well, no, you don't really have to because you didn't do anything.
Oh, goodness.
So a lot of the terms and things that they're putting down, we got to stop and think of what they're telling us.
Right.
What are they doing? One size fit everybody, and they don't.
Right.
What they're addressing is that person that actually go to the gym a couple times a week, and he's constantly working out, and he's doing this and that. That's his average person. They're treating the average person. What about the overactive and the underactive? That's where most of us fall within, and that's where we come up short. That's where the book would actually help you to identify a lot of these things that we actually look at and we just don't sit and think about it. Different places you can actually go and purchase the book if you don't get one here today, but I do encourage you to get it, especially if you know someone that's actually going through anything, because the terms, the prevention that we have in there, sure, it says kidney disease, but it actually applies to everything. That's just being aware, know what you're eating, know what you're putting in your mouth, know how much you're doing. If you skip your medicines, be honest. Be honest with the doctors. Tell them why you're not taking it anymore. Because 9 times out of 10, they can give you something either better or something that's gonna help you. If you tell them, oh yeah, doc, I'm taking it, and then the doctor's just like a computer. He's looking and saying, well, she's taking 10 milligrams of this 7 days a week, and it's not working. Let me increase that amount.
Yes.
Let me put them on something stronger. Let me take them off of this and do that. So we're actually not taking a part of our treatment plan. We're actually making it worse. And a lot of times I've talked to so many people in the group, I ain't gonna take that medicine. Why not? It makes me nauseated. Tell your doctor, don't just stop taking it. Taking the medicine every day at the same time is most important, because if you're taking it all during the day, different times and things of that nature, medicine can't really get in the sync. It's got to get to that point where everything is like you are handling your activities and things of that nature. So it's really important that we take an active role in the healthcare, start being mindful of the types of food we're eating, the lifestyle that we're leading, and then of course you want to be in charge of your treatment plan along with the doctors to make the decision. I'm not encouraging anyone to actually throw the doctor away and say, I'm going to treat myself. That's not a good thing to do, because we're not in that situation. But it can actually educate us enough to where we become a big part of our treatment and the things of that nature. So I like to end by saying, a lot of you may not agree with a lot of the words that came out of my mouth today or in the book. But my pledge to God is, if I can help somebody as I travel along, and this is words of a song, Jack, so he might start singing here in a minute. If I can help someone as I travel along, then my living shall not be in vain.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah. Wallace, just wait a minute. Anybody have any questions for him right quick? And you can also talk to him at his table as well. Did anybody have anything? No? Yeah? You know how your doctor say you have any questions and you keep it moving and you go home. Yeah? So while he's in your presence, this is a wonderful event here. We just thank you, Wallace, for being here. I know from being with you 8 years, it's a wealth of information, and I am even still in awe, because I've been here 8 years and it is never the same word throughout the 8 years. There's always more and more information. So I'd like to thank you for that, Wallace. And as we talked about, thank you to, and get on me as well, with you being an author, to maximize yourself. That is an awesome dream, guys. He did it in what? How long did it take you to write the book? Less than
Seemed like it was forever.
In your mind, but when you put it to paper, Wallace, it was what?
Yeah, once I actually got it written down, it didn't take as long, about 3-4 months. But in the jotting down, because there was always something, I do a lot of these presentations at senior homes and churches and things of that nature, even in elementary school. And it's amazing how much I learned from the feedback from the individuals. And they share with me what they're going through and what happened and what the outcome was. And in most cases, I'll do research on a lot of that to see how many other people went through this, how this similar, things of that nature. So I learned as much as an ongoing thing for me to actually get out, and I'm constantly reminded that how helpful I've been to others, but it's been a great big help to me.
And also I wanted to say too, as a part of Health and Awareness, being the ambassador now, I like to thank Wallace Green wife, Sandra Green. Also, we don't know your walk, your story, for even being from his healthcare to him. You guys don't know the story, but you'll know eventually later, from being in the wheelchair. And you didn't mention that this time here, but I remember you telling how she nursed you back and told you get your butt up and keep it moving and caused you to live again. So, and her personal life story, being with you, thank you for sharing him with us. And we don't know your story. Maybe you might push a little page in there and let the other folks know how it was caring for her. I'm a writer now in my head, and mine is going to be on paper. But we know that you had a wonderful story of being there, and we know it could have been a lot of pain but the wife's love and caring for her husband and not leaving him there and say, hey, you on dialysis and I want to just let you just do what you're doing, but you fought through, and we don't know your stories. We'd like to thank you for that. And I wanted to just thank for that to your wife. I'm sure she's been through stuff. Yeah.
One of my favorites is with her finally coming home and saying, aren't you going to change those sweats? I felt comfortable. I just didn't want to do anything, didn't care about leaving home, didn't want to do anything. I was doing my research at that time, but I was just kind of stuck in. And when she kind of reminded me that I wasn't looking like anything. And when I noticed I started making that change in my outfit and things like that, I felt better.
Right. Good.
So just something as small as that of, hey, don't you want to dress up a little bit? And needless to say, I don't know what happened to those sweats. I'm still looking for them.
Wallace, we have some Facebook family here. Patricia Kennedy, she said, awesome presentation, Wallace. I am going to share.
That could be cousin Patricia Candidate out of Maryland.
Her name is spelled Cannady.
Yes, it is.
Okay, cousin.
Yes, it is.
Wallace said, hello, cousin. Thank you for listening here. And we have Stanley Danzy here, Jackie White, LCD, also Shanita, and Danielle Beastie. And we have Morse and Jelena, my mother-in-law, and beloved grandmother. The folks are here watching. So you want to say something to the family here on Facebook that's looking at you now?
Yeah, buy one of my books.
Y'all knew that was coming. So you guys, everybody that's on here, I'll put the website there and you guys can purchase it. Wallace, thank you so much for being here, guys. We have an author here too, Joseph Hanley. Did I say his last name right? Hayes. There's another Hanley that I see. There's Joseph Hayes there. And Wallace, he's here on the event too. We like to thank you, Wallace, again for being here. And we're going to let you get to your table. Thank you so much. You guys have been great. And this is the break that we'll have to get to the tables.
Thank you.